Imagine, just for a second, getting right to the very edge of life and then coming back. But returning with this totally profound, almost unimaginable new understanding.
Hmm.
Like, what if you could see your life not just as you lived it day to day, but how it actually matters in some, well, grander scheme?
It's a really powerful thought, isn't it? This idea that, our lives aren't just isolated little bubbles,
Right.
that they're part of something much bigger, and our choices, even the ones that seem tiny, they ripple outwards.
Exactly. And that's really what we're getting into in today's deep dive. Our mission, basically, is to unpack this really extraordinary firsthand account of a near death experience.
Okay.
We want to pull out the insights on, like, purpose, connection, what our actions here on Earth truly mean. We're drawing straight from the words of someone, Erica, who says she died, she went somewhere else, and she came back with these incredible revelations about life, love, what really counts.
Sounds like a deeply personal story, but maybe one with lessons that resonate much more broadly, universal truths, perhaps.
I think so. So let's set the scene a bit. Erica's health was critical. And this was because she'd been taking a class 4 narcotic diet pill.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, for 9 years. It was only prescribed for 3 months.
9 years.
The damage, as you can imagine, to her heart, her lungs was severe. Her organs started shutting down one by one. Her heart rate just dropped and dropped until, well, she lost consciousness. Took what she calls her last breath.
That's quite a starting point. Really stark. It kind of throws you right into the deep end, highlighting how fragile life is, but also maybe what can happen at that threshold.
Totally. And what she experienced next, it just completely flipped her understanding of, well, herself.
Yeah.
As she took that last breath, she said she immediately just left her body.
It's a body experience.
Exactly. She remembers floating up, like effortlessly to the ceiling, glancing down, seeing the paramedics working on her, and she had this crystal clear thought. The physical body down there, that was her, yes, but the real me, the spiritual soul that was up here, watching, kind of detached.
Hmm. It's fascinating how often that specific detail comes up in these accounts. That sense of separation, the physical self down there, the consciousness observing from above. It's that observer part in Erica's story that really stands out.
Yeah. And from that point, watching everything, she made a conscious choice to just let go.
Okay?
And she says the instant she made that decision, she was just surrounded, embraced by this incredible light in this tunnel.
Ah, the tunnel of light.
Yes, but she describes it as more than just light. It was like this immense, powerful, magnificent force. And profoundly loving, it just propelled her effortlessly towards the light at the end. And she really stresses this point, the love was just indescribable, totally unlike anything she'd ever known.
That emphasis on the quality of the love, the sheer scale of it, that speaks volumes, doesn't it? It points to something way beyond our normal human emotions. Not just, a nice feeling, but an active, powerful, loving force.
Absolutely. And right then, she says she was delivered into the hands of God. Yeah. She found herself standing there with God on her right, and behind them was heaven. But interestingly, she saw heaven as a planet.
A planet, not clouds and harps.
Nope, a planet. And together, she and God were just looking out at the galaxy, the stars spread out right in front of them.
Wow. That really sets a cosmic stage, doesn't it? It moves beyond maybe some of our more earthly, traditional ideas of the divine. It's vast, universal, but somehow still intimate.
Totally. And as they stood there, she heard something really clearly in her left ear. A sound like like a vintage sounding projector.
Like a movie projector.
Exactly, like a movie was about to start. And as soon as she heard that sound, the stars in front of them, which were just stars, a second ago, they suddenly lined up like a curtain.
Okay.
And this curtain of stars just opened slowly to the right, and she heard a voice, or maybe just knew. 3, 2, 1. And bang, her life review started. Playing out like a movie, right there in this big movie theater in the galaxy with God next to her.
So her whole life flashing before her eyes, quite literally.
Yeah.
But this first review,
Yeah.
it sounds like it focused on certain kinds of things.
That's a really sharp observation. It did. This review showed everything chronologically from the day that I was born up until that day that I had taken my last breath and I died. But it highlighted what she called what man deems as significant, if you will, accomplishments.
Okay, like human achievements.
Exactly. Losing her first tooth, high school graduation, getting awards for sports or cheerleading, stuff like that. She said they were happy times for sure, but they were achievements from a very human perspective. And here's the really intense part. She wasn't just watching, she was reliving it, feeling everything all over again as each event unfolded.
Wow. That's almost like judging your life based on society scorecard, isn't it? The external stuff. It definitely makes you pause and think, well, what's the real measure then, beyond those earthly ideas of success?
And that question gets answered almost immediately in a really striking way. After that first review finished, she just knew telepathically, she said, to look down. And right there in front of her were these eyeglasses, but they were huge, like vehicle size.
Gabriel-sized glasses.
Yeah, she'd never worn glasses in her life. But God told her, put them on. She described how her hands just moved almost on their own, drew the glasses to her face, and they fit perfectly. And suddenly she could really see.
That's quite a moment, a real turning point, putting on those glasses. It's such a powerful metaphor, isn't it? Gaining this completely new perspective, a new way to see reality.
Exactly. And as soon as God said, now look, that old projector sound started up again. 3, 2, 1. The star curtain opened again for a second life review.
Okay, same life, but a different showing.
Totally different. She said everything shown this time, birth to death again, was not at all what I had seen before.
So this is where the divine perspective comes in, maybe. Different from the human one.
Precisely. This review showed things that were important to God, not important to man. Specifically, love and acts of kindness. And what's really amazing is she said many of these were things she didn't even remember doing. Like small things, befriending someone who was being picked on, helping an animal that was neglected, giving a few dollars to a homeless person when she barely had anything herself, helping an elderly person cross the street, things like that.
Wow.
Every single action, word, thought, feeling in this review, she said, was all about love. And again, she relived it all, but this time feeling this immense, unconditional love from God pouring through her.
That really highlights the unseen impact, doesn't it? Things we might just brush off or forget entirely.
Yeah.
From this higher perspective, they're incredibly significant. It completely shifts the focus from, trophies and diplomas to, well, compassion, how we treat each other. What do you make of that stark difference between the two?
That contrast, what man values versus what God values, it's incredibly powerful, isn't it? Makes you think that maybe our real legacy is made up of all these little acts of kindness we don't even track. So after the second really moving review, she knew, again, just knew to look up, and she saw God's arm from the shoulder right down to the fingertips. And she described it as bigger than a semi-truck.
Whoa.
Yeah, and this huge arm motioned upward. And there, in the palm of God's hand, was a boulder. A single, large, huge boulder.
That's some powerful imagery. So fundamental, like a truth about to be shown.
Exactly. She watched as God just let the rock fall. It fell for a long time, she said. Then God declared, I am the rock. I am the light. And right when he said, I am the light, the rock started glowing with this most incredible, powerful light, almost blinding.
Okay. The rock is also light.
Yeah. And as this glowing rock kept falling, this huge body of water appeared below it, like larger than the largest ocean, stretching out endlessly. The rock fell into the water, and it made just one single ripple. One single ripple. But then it just grew and grew and grew until she couldn't see the edges anymore. It just expanded infinitely outwards.
That's beautiful. It's such a clear illustration of interconnectedness, maybe. The rock, the light, the ripple spreading out forever, how everything affects everything else.
Precisely. And then God told her, you are the rock. You are the light. You are the ripple that affects mankind.
Wow.
And she got it instantly. It wasn't just about her, Erica. It meant each and every one of us is that rock, that light, that ripple, affecting everyone, everything, even people we never meet, just like that ripple spreading out in the water.
That completely reframes personal impact, doesn't it? We're not just living in isolation. We're constantly sending out these ripples, whether we realize it or not. It kind of makes you think about the chain reactions we start with, well, everything we do.
It's a crucial point, absolutely. And what she experienced next sort of builds on that, challenging her ideas about herself and her purpose even more. God told her to look to her right. And she saw these brilliant white shelves stretching up as high as the highest stars. And they were just packed with presents, gifts, like at Christmas, she said. But the colors were indescribable, magnificent. And the gifts themselves felt alive.
Alive.
Yeah, and these shelves just loaded with countless unique living gifts. They just stretched out as far as she could see in every direction.
The sheer number and uniqueness. It sounds like a picture of divine design, where every single person is different and equipped with specific things, like incredible generosity, and a real value placed on difference.
That's exactly how she understood it. God explained, in life, I give each and every one of you gifts, and they're all different because that is part of my plan.
Part of the plan.
Yeah. And he told Erica specifically that when she was born, she received the gifts of patience and beauty.
Patience and beauty. Interesting.
But here's where it gets really human. She said she actually argued with God about the beauty part.
Argued with God.
Yeah. Because, she said, look at her past bad choices. Taking that diet pill, always feeling like she was never good enough, always trying to live up to man's standards instead of just being who God made her to be.
Wow, that's incredibly vulnerable. And so relatable, right? That struggle so many people have with external standards of worth, especially beauty. Her arguing about it really shows how deeply those worldly ideas can bury our sense of inherent value.
It really does, but God just reaffirmed her gifts. And through that, she finally understood that the beauty wasn't, skin deep. It came from within my heart. It's an extension of all of us, she said, the love that we carry in our hearts.
Oh, inner beauty.
Exactly. And she really grasped the significance then of each and every one of these gifts that he gives all of us. And she shared a key takeaway from this. If we want to receive more gifts in life, all we have to do is ask and then be quiet and listen.
So the gifts aren't just static things we're given at birth. They can grow, we can receive more. But it involves asking and then that receptive, quiet listening. An active process, really, aligning with potential.
Right. So then came what she called her last lesson. God told her to look to her left.
Okay, what now?
She saw Earth, but it was engulfed in flames everywhere.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. You can just imagine her first thought, total panic for her family, her kids.
Of course. A terrifying vision, facing her deepest fears, her earthly attachments, head on. Like a final test.
It seems like it. But then those miraculous glasses reappeared. And even though she was terrified of what else she might see, she said they were just drawn to her face again.
So she had to look through them again.
She had to. And through the glasses, amongst the flames, she saw these silvery white things lifting off, just rising up between the flames.
What were they?
Souls. They were unscathed, just rising up, going into heaven, that planet she'd seen earlier. And she was just filled with this overwhelming relief. Joy, even. She actually yelled out to God, they're fine, they're okay.
That must have been such profound comfort. Seeing that separation, the physical destruction, but the essence, the soul, is untouched. It transcends.
Yeah.
It's a powerful statement about life beyond the physical body.
Huge relief. But that joyful relief was immediately met by something else. From God. She felt this incredible magnitude of sadness the first time she'd felt an emotion like that from God.
Sadness. After seeing the souls were okay.
Why? She asked him, why are you sad? And God replied, Erica, it's free will.
Pretty well.
She understood then. God wasn't sad about the flames or the physical end. God was crying for the ones that chose separation from him.
Wow.
It showed her God's immense love, this desire for connection, but also this profound respect for our individual choice, even when that choice leads away from him, causing divine sorrow.
That might be the deepest, maybe the hardest lesson in her whole experience, that ultimate respect for free will, a love so big it allows separation, but still grieves it. It really puts a weight on our choices, doesn't it?
It really does. So after all of that, it was time to go back.
Back to Earth.
Yeah. And she did not want to go. She said she felt completely home. She had no desire to go back, even knowing her family would be okay eventually.
Understandable after everything she'd seen and felt.
Totally. But God told her, very simply, child, you're not staying. You work for me now. Remember.
So a mission came out of it. A directive to bring all this back. It wasn't just for her own enlightenment. It was for others, too.
Seems like it. And before she returned, God gave her 2 more gifts.
More gifts.
Yeah, added to patience and beauty, she now received knowledge and wisdom.
Knowledge and wisdom. Makes sense.
And with those came a clear instruction. Be quiet and listen to the people that I put into your life. And then when you speak, you will change millions of people's lives.
So it's not just about telling the story. It's about how she engages with the world now. Listening deeply first, then speaking intentionally. It suggests real wisdom comes from that quiet receptivity before you speak out. Active service based on listening.
Exactly. So when we unpack this whole deep dive into Erica's experience, what does it really shine a light on for us? I think it powerfully shows that our real value, our contribution, it comes from embracing who we uniquely are, our innate gifts, not the external stuff, the awards, the pressures.
Right. The core message seems to be about tapping into that inner wellspring, the power, the answers, the gifts they're already within. And our contribution here is about finding those gifts, growing them, and then actually using them.
And crucially, her account really emphasizes that our differences, they aren't mistakes. They're actually celebrated. They're part of the divine plan.
Yeah, and that true change, maybe changing the world even, happens when we bring all those different, beautiful, amazing gifts together, when we collaborate with them. It shifts the focus from just individual effort to, like, collective impact.
What an absolutely incredible journey we've just taken, tracing this unique account of life, death, and, well, profound revelation. We've explored this idea that maybe our lives mean more than we think, that our actions really do create ripples, and that the unique things about us, they're not just for us, they're potentially world-changing.
hmm This whole deep dive, it's a reminder, isn't it, that those things that might seem small, a quiet act of kindness, a moment of just figuring something out about yourself, they can hold this immense unseen power. It really asks you to think about your own inner resources and the effect you have on others, whether you see it or not.
So as you go about your day after hearing this, maybe ask yourself, what would it mean for you to put on those metaphorical glasses? To look at your own life, your own actions through that lens of unconditional love.
Yeah, and how might recognizing your own unique gifts, the things only you bring, empower you to start creating your own positive ripple effect right now, today?